previous lecture, we discussed about dicot embryo development. Now, in today's lecture, we'll see embryogeny in monocots, means monocot embryo development. So, let's start our class. What is our today's topic? Embryogeny of monocots, means monocot embryo development. So, in monocot embryo development, if we compare the monocot embryo development with the dicot embryo development, the initial stages are the same. But later on when they go, dicot embryo has heart-shaped embryo and then it makes two cotyledons. Whereas in monocot, it has only one cotyledon. It will have only one cotyledon and it will not have that heart-shaped embryo. Okay. So, these are the differences between dicot and monocot embryo development. So, which plant should we take it as a reference plant to study monocot embryo? While we are studying dicot embryo, we have taken Capsella bursa pastoris, shepherd's purse, right, as a reference plant. Here we are going to take grass or wheat as a reference plant to study monocot embryo. So, what is the reference plant we are taking? Either we will take grass or we can go with maize as a reference plant to study monocot embryo development. Now, grass belongs to a family called Graminae. So, it belongs to a family. To which family it belongs to? It belongs to a family called Graminae. Now, we see that this is the ovule and this is the micropyle. The typical shape of anatropous angiospermic ovule is anatropous ovule, and these ends, this end, let me draw the other cotyledon here. Yeah, this is the second cotyledon, right? Now, this end is the micropylar end and this end is the callosal end. Now, the embryo develops near to the micropylar end, we told, means this cell towards the micropylar end will develop into a zygote. Now, what did I draw here? This is zygote. Now, let us take this zygote out and start the development. Okay. Now, this is zygote, or we can also call it as oospore, right? And let us show the positions also. This is the micropylar end and this is the callosal end. Now, what happens to the zygote or oospore? It grows. It grows, it elongates and it undergoes a transverse division. This zygote, it grows, I am making it big. It will elongate and it will make a transverse division. This is a transverse division. All the divisions are mitotic divisions only. So, after making transverse divisions, the cell which is towards the micropylar end is called as the basal cell. The cell which is towards the callosal end is called as a terminal cell. The cell which is towards the micropylar end is called as a basal cell and the cell which is towards the callosal end is called as a terminal cell. I am showing with a different color so that it will help us to easily identify, understand the concept. So, this is the basal cell and this is the terminal cell. Now, here in monocot embryo, the basal cell doesn't divide further. This enlarges and makes a haustoria, right? So, the basal cell in monocots will not divide further. It enlarges and it makes a haustoria. So, this is haustoria developed from the basal cell towards a micropylar end. Whereas, this terminal cell undergoes one more transverse division. This terminal cell undergoes one more transverse division to make two cells. One cell which is in the middle is called as middle cell and the other cell here is the other cell. Okay, this is called top cell and this cell is called as middle cell. And this cell was basal cell got modified into haustoria. Okay, so this is three-celled proembryo. Zygote developed into two-celled proembryo, developed into three-celled proembryo. This is the basal cell, this is the middle cell and the bottom one is the top cell. Now, the top cell will develop into cotyledon top cell is going to give rise to what? Cotyledon. Monocot has only one cotyledon. The single cotyledon of monocot is called scutellum. What is that cotyledon called? Scutellum. Whereas the middle cell is going to make the complete parts of the embryo. The middle cell is going to form the embryo. Almost all the parts of the embryo. What are the parts of the embryo? It's going to make radicle. Yeah, we'll write hypocotyl. From hypocotyl, it will make the radicle also. It can make epicotyl. Sorry. And from the epicotyl, it will make pumure. And then even it makes the suspensor cells also. So all the parts of the embryo, if you see, are developed from the middle cell only, and the middle cell has originated from the terminal cell here. Okay. So now middle cell will make all these parts and the top cell will make scutellum. Now next, what happens is, from here if we see the further development, it starts dividing. The suspensor cell will enlarge, big hostorial cell to derive nutrition, right? And I told the middle cell will divide. We are using black color for the middle cell. The middle cell is dividing because it is the one which has to make all the parts of the embryo, right? So the middle cell is dividing to make all the parts of the embryo, whereas this one, the top cell, is going to make the scutellum. The top cell also divides. The top cell also divides, and if you see here, this is called as globular embryo. Now what is this called? This is called 2-cell proembryo, this is called 3-cell proembryo, and this is called as globular proembryo. I am writing it here. This is called as globular proembryo. Now if you remember the point, we told that dicot embryo and monocot embryo in the initial stages, they have the same sequence. Till here, children, they have the same sequence. From here, it differs in dicot and monocot. Till globular stage, they mean the same. Now what happens? Now this grows vigorously since it has to make the whole embryo. And this one goes towards one lateral side because a cotyledon is only one cotyledon. It goes to one corner. Okay. Then it makes a structure in this manner. I'll show. This is a hostorial cell. And this one, the middle cell, which has to make the embryo, will develop suspensors. So these are the suspensor cells, and then it will make a complete structure. It's going to make this much structure, whereas the blue colored one, which is the top cell, which has to make the scutellum, we are using with blue. So yeah, it makes, yes, this becomes the scutellum. Now here, this is the hostoria, which is made from the basal cell, and this is the embryo, proper embryo, and this is a single cotyledon, which is made from the top cell. So this is scutellum, right? Single cotyledon, which is on one lateral side. And what is this? This is the functional cotyledon. This is the functional cotyledon, and towards this side, shoot apex will come. Towards that side, root apex will go. Now let us draw that. Yes. So what we can see here is the tissue which covers the root. This is called root tip, children. This is called root tip and root cap. And this tissue, an undifferentiated sheath-like tissue which covers the root tip, is called as coleorhiza. This is called coleorhiza. And this is the shoot tip, and this part which is covering is called as coleoptile. This is coleoptile, and this becomes the shoot tip. This becomes the shoot tip. Okay, so this is a proper embryo. Now this, if you remember the positions, it is micropylar to callosal, means this is micropylar and this is the callosal end. In our NCERT textbook, they gave it from callosal to micropylar end. If we see the callosal end towards the top and micropylar end towards the bottom, then the structure will somehow go like this. What is that? Shall I draw it here? Right? It's like this, right? So in this is a single functional cotyledon which is called as scutellum, which is connected to the embryo. This is the embryonic axis. Now here we find a tissue which is covering the shoot tip, a tissue which is covering the root tip, and inside that we see the plumule and few foliar leaves we find here, and here only root tip will be there. Here only root tip will be there. So then this is the diagram of the monocot embryo what they have given in our NCERT textbook. Isn't it? Is it the same? Right? Now let us discuss the parts also. Children, what is this called? This I told is the functional cotyledon. This is the functional cotyledon which is called as scutellum. And this one is the degenerated second cotyledon which is like a vestigial part which is called as epiblast. What is this, children? It is epiblast. What does epiblast represents? It represents the second non-functional cotyledon or degenerated cotyledon. It is degenerated cotyledon. Monocot has only one cotyledon. It is this cotyledon which is hood-like, which is shield-shaped. It's called a scutellum. And this is the embryo. In that embryo, if we see this side. Now, what is this tissue? This is a tissue which is covering the shoot tip, right? This is called as coleoptile. And this is a tissue which is covering the root. What is this called? Coleorhiza. And this is covering the shoot tip. That means this is the shoot tip then. And this covers the radicle and then covers the root cap also. Children, this is monocot embryo development. We'll have a quick recap once again. So, embryogeny of monocots. Which plant are we taking reference means? We'll take the reference of grass plant or the maize plant. It belongs to a family called Graminae. This is the ovule. Towards the micropylar end is the matured zygote. That zygote, when we take it out and see, this is the micropylar end and this is the callosal end. The zygote or oospore, it elongates. It shows a transverse division to make a basal cell towards a micropylar end and to make a terminal cell towards a callosal end. You need to represent the directions. Now, at the micropylar end, basal cell is there. The basal cell will not divide further. It's making a tissue which can absorb nutrition, which is called haustoria. It enlarges and it becomes haustoria. Whereas this terminal cell, the black colored one, terminal cell, undergoes one more transport division to make a middle cell and the top cell. This blue colored top cell will make the cotyledon, which is functional cotyledon is called scutellum. Whereas the middle cell is going to make the remaining part of the embryo. It will make epicotyl, hypocotyl, radicle, plumule, including the suspensor cells it will make. Now, if we see the cells are growing, the middle cell is growing, made a mass, the top cell is growing, made a mass. So then the resultant structure will be globular proembryo. Till here, the dicot embryo and monocot embryo resembles the same. Then next, this middle cell will make the embryo we told. So the embryo is like this. It will make the suspensors we told. These are the suspensors. And this part makes the functional scutellum. Here is the functional scutellum. I have differentiated with colors also so that it will be easy for you to understand. So this blue color came from this blue colored part. Black colored one came from the middle cell. The red colored one came from the basal cell. Now, when we see the anatropous position, it is like this: micropylar end on the top, callosal end on the bottom. In NCERT, when they have showing the matured monocot embryo, they showed it callosal end on the top and micropylar end on the bottom. This becomes the micropylar end. It is in this way, one side, laterally on one side scutellum will be there, and at the center embryo will be there, embryonic axis will be there, and other side we can see the degenerated cotyledon, which is called as epiblast. And here in monocots, the root tip and the shoot tip, the plumule and the radicle are covered by a tissue. Root tip is covered by coleorhiza, shoot tip is covered by coleoptile. Take a screenshot, we'll continue. Right? Now, when we see the structure of monocot seed, dicot seed has two cotyledons, but monocot seed has only one cotyledon, right? And dicot seeds are generally non-endospermic. Monocot seeds are endospermic. That too, they have bulky endosperm. 2/3 of the seed content is endosperm only. Now, when we see the monocot seed, earlier what we have seen is monocot embryo. Now, when we have to see the monocot seed, I am drawing a maize seed. Now, this is a maize seed. I told here the majority is endosperm, means 2/3 of the seed is filled with endosperm. This is endosperm. Towards the corner, here is the embryo. What is this portion? Embryo. And what is inside here? Endosperm. And there is an epithelial tissue which separates the endosperm from the embryo. This is epithelial lining. This is epithelial lining. And the endosperm is rich in starch. And the endosperm serves as a nutritive tissue, right? It serves as a nutritive tissue. Since the monocot seeds are having endosperm, monocot seeds are called endospermic seeds. What are monocot seeds called? Monocot seeds are endospermic, right? We can also call albuminous seeds. What's the other name? Albuminous seeds. And how much is the endosperm? 2/3 of the seed is filled with endosperm. It is filled with endosperm. And what is endosperm made of? It is rich of starch. And then the endosperm is covered by a protein-rich layer called aileron layer. So, we'll draw that. I'm telling that the endosperm is covered by a protein-rich layer which is called as aileron layer. And this aileron layer is fused with the fruit wall. Now, what is this layer called? This is called pericarp. What is pericarp? It is the fruit wall. This is fruit wall and this is the seed coat. What is the seed coat called? Testa. In most of the monocots, the fruit wall and the seed coats are fused with each other. The fruit wall and the seed coat, this is the seed coat, are fused with each other. Such a type of fruits are called caryopsis. Such a type of fruits are called caryopsis. And what is this layer we are drawing? The fruit wall and the seed wall are fused and they made this layer. And what am I drawing is endosperm layer. Endosperm is covered by aileron layer. So, this one is aileron layer, right? So, shall I write it here? This is aileron layer. Aileron layer encloses the endosperm and aileron layer is a protein-rich layer. It is a protein-rich layer. Now, the endosperm of angiosperms is triploid. Then the aileron layer which is covering the endosperm is also triploid. So, if they ask us the ploidy of endosperm, children, it is 3n. The ploidy of this aileron layer is also 3n. And this point has been asked in NEET 2016 paper. What is the ploidy of the aileron layer cells? It is 3N, triploid, because it is wrapping the endosperm. From there only the aileron layer is derived. The difference is here starch is there. This is starch, whereas the aileron layer is made of protein, right? This is about the nutritive tissue. Now, if you see the embryo here, we are telling it has only one functional cotyledon that is laterally rotated and it is towards one corner and it is thin and papery. So, here is the cotyledon. The shield-shaped cotyledon. What is this? Scutellum. How is this? It is thin, papery. Actually, we tell the cotyledon should be thick and it should store the nutritive food material. But in monocots, there is one cotyledon and that cotyledon is thin and papery. It is not storing the nutrient food materials. Okay. And where is it? It is lateral. In which shape it is? It is hood shaped or it is shield shaped, right? It is hood shaped or shield shaped structure, thin and papery. Then why are you calling it as a cotyledon if it is not providing nutrition? Means, so here this epithelial lining, it secretes gibberellic acid and this gibberellic acid digests the aileron layer. It digests the aileron layer, it digests the endosperm. When that endosperm digests, that endosperm supplies nutrients to the scutellum. The endosperm is supplying nutrients to the scutellum and through the scutellum, here is the embryo will get the food. Let us draw the embryo also. Right, this is an embryo and this is coleoptile and these are the foliar structures and this is radicle, right? So, the endosperm is providing nutrition to the scutellum and the scutellum is supplying nutrients to the embryo. Through the scutellum, since the nutrients are coming, we call it as a cotyledon. Okay. And what is this region called? This is called root tip. And what is this called? This is called radicle. Radicle is covered by undifferentiated sheath. What is this undifferentiated sheath called? Coleorhiza. What is coleorhiza? It is an undifferentiated sheath. What is this? Undifferentiated sheath-like tissue. It is undifferentiated sheath-like tissue called coleorhiza, which covers the radicle and the root cap, right? Right. 1 minute. This will be the root cap and on the top will be radicle, right? Right. And what is this? This is shoot tip. And the shoot tip is covered by one more sheath. What is this sheath called? Coleoptile. This is coleoptile. This is the structure of monocot seed and this is the structure of which seed? Maize seed. We have taken maize seed to study the structure of monocot seed. What are we telling? So, it belongs to which type of fruit? It belongs to Caryopsis. What is Caryopsis? The fruit wall pericarp fuses with the seed coat testa. It is undifferentiated. Here is a fruit wall to which the seed coat has also fused. Testa has also fused. And what is this? Bulky endosperm. That's why we tell monocot seeds are albuminous seeds or endospermic seeds. And endosperm is rich of starch granules. And the endosperm is covered by a protein rich layer called aileron layer. And towards one corner is the embryo. The embryo has lateral one sheath-like cotyledon. It is called as scutellum. Then below the scutellum will be the embryo. In this embryo, we have shoot tip and we have radicle covered by coleoptile and coleorhiza. This is about monocot embryo development and monocot seed. If you like the content, like, share and subscribe to my channel. In the next lecture, we'll talk about seeds in general. Seeds, the viability of the seeds, the advantages of the seeds, we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.